My ex-husband sued me for child support even though we share custody of our kid, but I went along with it and watched him and his lawyer embarrass themselves in front of the judge. Backstory: I have a 5-year-old daughter with my ex-husband. We broke up about 2.5 years ago. We had some ups and downs during our marriage. We never argued or fought per se, but we did negotiate a lot with strong emotions and opinions. Yet, we always managed to find some common ground to stand on together. That is why it kind of caught me by surprise when he told me he wanted a divorce. I cried for a couple of days, went out with friends, and then started planning on how to figure things out. Because neither of us had enough income at that point to keep our car or house, we agreed that I should take care of selling the car and he would get a realtor to start selling our home. Well, it turns out I had to do both. Anyway, we had more debt than money, and he tried to leave all the debt to me while he would start from a clean slate. I would not let him, and I made sure everything we owned and every bit of debt would be split evenly. We agreed that our daughter would live with both of us, splitting the time evenly as our daughter had the right to having 2 parents. We promised each other to act civil. This did not last long. We also had agreed that since our salaries were pretty even, neither of us would pay child support. We also agreed that he would take care of buying most of the clothes, etc., for our kid since he was the only one with a bank account, so he was receiving child support, about €100 per month here in Finland paid by the government to support raising offspring. After the breakup, he started mail ordering new furniture for himself, even before he had found a new apartment for himself, kind of obvious, but he really did not have the money for it either. 2 weeks later, he moved out. A week later, I heard from our kid that he had a new woman. I did not really care, just raised some eyebrows. He would often call in sick to his work, usually nonsense reasons, and when his boss gave some feedback, he did not fix his attitude, but instead, he just quit. He applied to a call center and got in. After about 2 months, he quit the call center too and started demanding me to pay child support. We got a professional to weigh in and agreed that I still would not pay a dime to him because he himself had caused his income to collapse. As a goodwill act, I offered to pay for our daughter's insurance. I thought the matter was settled, but then he got her new woman pregnant a few months after our breakup. After our divorce was final, there is a 6 months reconsideration time before the judge calls it. He married her new woman. These things empowered him into demanding for money again and again and again. So now that you know what kind of person we are dealing with. The case: last fall he yet again demanded money to support our kid. He was working again, and I knew he used our kid as an excuse because he had expressed envy towards my ability to control my finances to a point that even when I had the same amount money, I could eat in restaurants, etc. I told him that if he needed child support for legitimate reasons, I would of course help, but all the expenses would have to be calculated properly to know the right amount he would need. Instead, he demanded I would pay him €200 per month and he would take care of all the expenses regarding our daughter. He did not have any real reasons for the demand, other than his need for control. He had always been someone who wanted to have the last say in things. On top of his demand, this time he threatened to sue me if I did not pay him. I pretty much laughed at it, until I got a message from his lawyer. At that point, I messaged my ex telling him from now on I would only discuss this matter via our lawyers and started looking for a lawyer myself. During the next couple months, things started to look really bad for his case. After getting the papers from the court, I noticed his case was based on false data. He had not asked for my income and expenses before they sued me, and he had estimated my income to be a lot more than it actually was. Also, my expenses were estimated to be smaller than actual. At this point, I messaged my ex and asked if he is sure he does not want to settle. He did not, so I decided to go with some malicious compliance and did not try again. After we both calculated every income and expense of both parties with the help of our lawyers, I and my lawyer confirmed that he had enough money to raise our kid. Not only that, it turned out he actually had more money than me for it. Monthly income minus living costs, medicine, etc. I burst out laughing at the absurdity of his case, even more so when he tried to twist things to his favor by sending false evidence to us and the judge, which we noticed instantly. A couple days go by and my lawyer calls me. He had gotten a call from my ex's lawyer saying he had noticed my ex is lying and the whole case is based on lies, and the lawyer wants to settle. It looked like my malicious compliance would not go through until my lawyer got a message that for some reason, they will not settle after all. Game on. The judgment: we went to court. You can now check if there is a part 2 by clicking share and more.